Chronicles of Dr. Limitless. Why did I sell drugs? I would love to come up with some catchy little story like I needed the money so I wanted to sell drugs and even though my family wasn't making the most money at that time, we was doing better. We was doing a little better. We was living in a little small house, um, Shamrock Drive near the chapel, where we call the chapel the apartments, the projects. Everybody wanted to be associated with it because when you go to school, it's really a lot was on your block. If you lived in Five Points, if you lived in, Mariella Trailer Parks or the Hill, all of this stuff, people wanted to associate with. This is a tough area I'm from, so you're not gonna be like I'm from Shamrock. I'm from the chapel. But anyway, I wanted to sell drugs because everybody that I saw in school at the time, there was a guy named D. Uh, 80. I'm not gonna, go. But it was people that I looked up to that I was like, yo, I want to be like them. I want that lifestyle. Like, I respect them, right? And it was something that I was like, yo, I gotta do this. I gotta do it. So I'm going out of my way trying to, Corvon, Squirt, Hammy, let me sell, let me sell. And nah, man, come on, Jay, you a football player, you this. People was really trying to look out for me. And then Corvon was like, nah, man, put you on. So started selling, some of his product. I got a working 50, took the working 50, cut it up, chopped it up, and started selling. And it wasn't making money like what people think, like the movies. I wasn't making a lot of money like that. I think maybe the most money I made at the time was $500. And it's a lot because you're living in a house with your parents and all of this stuff. But it always was a grimy, scary type of thing. Some of the things you see on the block. And at the time, I was like 13, 14 years old. So the things that I saw being in that world, I wasn't afraid, but it was just a little respect of it in the nature. And then you see the cops, you be like, oh, the jump out boys, and take off running and doing all that crazy stuff. And I'd love to say that it was just a bad feel. No. Like, I enjoyed some of that. Like, I enjoyed the attention. I enjoyed, being able to have money in my pocket. All of these things. But it was two situations that really made me like, nah, I can't do this no more. Sell crack. Anyway, my cousin said, he came around, and at the time, he was a great basketball player. Everybody loved him, man. The dude could jump high and all of this. And he came around on a block that I was hustling at. And I was just like, yo, what is he doing over here? He like, man, my boy Squirt was like, man, he a local crackhead. And I was like, he a crackhead. And I was like, damn. Like, they didn't know that was my cousin. My first cousin. The one that we thought was going to go pro and do all of this. So that hurt me. Like, I was able to see the impact of what this drug is doing. And at the time, my other cousin, Chris, he was going in and out. So I saw him struggling with it. But what really changed, it was this guy that came up to me. He had to be in his early 30s, maybe. And he had two kids with him. And one kid was hiding behind his leg. And I'm like, man, I don't want to sell because the kid's here. And I made eye contact with one of the kids. And it was like this guilty feeling of like, yo, you doing, what you doing is wrong. Like, I just felt this feeling. And I was like, man, take your fucking kids home, man. And he was like, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. And I saw the power that this drug had, this little piece, this little 20 piece had over this man that he ran and took his kids home. And I'm joking. And I'm like, yeah, man, I told that dude to take his kids home. But on the inside, I'm feeling bad. Like, damn, I'm selling to this dude. And in my young mind, I'm like, this dude could be spending time with his kids. He could be doing all. And I just felt like he was a bad father, judging him, right? And looking at myself selling it to him. And I was hoping he wasn't going to come back. And he came back. And I sold it to him. And I felt so guilty, felt so bad, man. And, and then later on, Officer Barnes came around and was like, yo, you don't need to be on the block tonight. And I didn't stay out there the next night. And then one of our guys got arrested and went to prison on drug sweep. So what I realized is that, and I'm not going to sit here and act like I wasn't afraid to go to prison. I ain't one of these dudes like, yo, I go to prison. Nah, I ain't want to go to prison. But it was those interactions that really, really changed me. The fact that you could go to prison was always there. It was always in the back of your mind. And I felt like I was being prepared to go to prison with in-school suspension, out-of-school detention, suspension, Saturday school, all of this. I felt like they was prepping me for that. But that really changed my life, man. And I just couldn't do it no more. So then I started selling weed. So, I was selling weed at the prom, hitting boys up in the bathroom, dumb. And the cop is like right there. Not realizing if I would have got caught, that would have changed everything in my life. Because if I would have got a record, I would have never went to the military, never would have been able to do these things. And yeah, but God, spared me, gave me grace. So that was a story of me selling drugs, and that was a story of me quitting it, and that's how Dr. Limitless became born. And I love to say that me stopped selling crack, and even when I eventually stopped selling weed, it changed my life. Nah, it didn't. I still had those violent tendencies, and I still had the tendencies of wanting to be accepted. I love when I used to be walking in the area, and they'd be like, James, what's up? Oh, J-Rock. And, you throwing up the peace sign. I used to love all of that. And as I get older, as an older man, I could care less about it. I just want to make a positive impact. Hopefully this story, you can relate to anything that you're dealing with in your personal life, things that you may be embarrassed about, you regret. Let it out, man. Speak it. It's your truth. And there was a reason why you went through it. You went through it for a reason. Be a testimony. It's a better way to live. Because even if you're a drug dealer, people got to trust you in order for you to get the big packages, or for you to be the plug, or for you to be the guy or the girl. And there's more risk with that. And the risk on this side is your freedom. But in the workforce, the higher you go up, people got to trust you. Can you be a part of the team? And there's risk with that. Time away from your family. Investments that you put in with your own money. Everything in life is a risk. What risk do you want to take? Take the positive risk and grind. And all of the talent God gave you, go out and do something with it. Don't do these illegal things. I've done a lot of illegal things and it doesn't pay off. But what I'm doing now legally, it's paying off. But it's me believing in myself, getting away from all of these social constructs, realizing I'm the one. If God is in me, God is what's leading me and guiding me. So guide yourself to be limitless. Be limitless. This is Dr. Limitless.